December rolled around again this year, almost by surprise. Everyone I spoke to seemed to not quite be feeling the Christmas vibe. Looking around, we had the lights, music, cozy food and drink, but something seemed to be missing: the snow. What this holiday season was missing is a proper white Christmas to bring it home, and unfortunately that was not the case where I was this year. So naturally, where real life has failed, video games come to the rescue. In this video, I'll be trying to capture the Christmas spirit by revisiting a game I haven't played in a long time, and focusing on a Pokemon I have never actually used on a team: the holiday icon himself, Delibird. I've been meaning to do these kind of videos for a while now, and finally found myself with enough time to do so over the holidays. This video is partly inspired and influenced by the amazing video by Zen Mode. In his video, he fixes the poor performance of Delibird in the Gen 5 sequels by giving it a much better ability and move pool. Considering Delibird's move droplet of only present and decent abilities which don't quite go far enough to balance its terrible stats, it makes sense to approach it in the same way, by giving it an actual learn set and a new ability. Zen's edits are thematically consistent and provide a viable and fun way to use Delibird, and I won't spoil what he did in this video, so please click the link to his video so you can see what he did for yourself. The specific changes he made were ones I hadn't thought of when brainstorming for my video, and were very creative and cool to see. I can't recommend his videos enough. I will of course be taking my edits in a different direction and taking Delibird to his home region of Johto, where he will be more at home with his fellow weak Johtomons. I appreciate the design philosophy of having a Pokemon that doesn't learn moves on its own and relies on receiving the gift of TMs to be able to battle, but I wanted to reimagine it with a full learn set, just for the fun of it really. When looking at Delibird's gimmick around Christmas, I wanted to theme his moves around that idea, helping friends and family, delivering and exchanging presents. In-game, this is reflected by centering its moves around item manipulation and general support. I don't want my Delibird to be a hard hitter, but rather have a supportive niche. Specifically, Gen 4 is often centered around weather, and the scarcity of weather-setting Pokemon in the earlier generations give this ability more value. I want my Delibird to have the ability Snow Warning, which was unique to Abomasnow, to give it something to balance its terrible stats. Hail is the worst weather condition, with limited synergy across types, so I don't think it's going to make Delibird overpowered. Plus, it's very thematically appropriate for the Christmas Pokemon, bringing merry tidings and snow along with it when it enters battle. Speaking of snow, in later generations this weather was changed to be improved. These later changes would make Delibird more useful, especially when adding Aurora Veil and other things like that. But we will be making these edits in the Gen 4 Johto remakes. Since the ability doesn't address its other problems, we will still need to adjust its stats and move pool to make it usable. For reference, Abomasnow, the only other Snow Warning Pokemon in Gen 4, has a base stat total of 494, compared to Delibird's 330. Other Pokemon like Delcatty have 380, and even a baby Pokemon like Elekid has a higher base stat total than Delibird. Currently, Delibird sits alongside many first evolutions and weak early game encounters like bug Pokemon, despite its late availability. I think boosting it to something like 360 or 380 would maintain its weaker status, but give it more to work with. It wasn't really designed to be a serious Pokemon, like many other Pokemon in Johto and just other gimmick Pokemon in general, and I don't want to alter it drastically and deviate from that core concept. There are a few options with how to amend its stats. A flat 5 or 10 in every category would maintain its distribution ratios, but beef it up just a little to be able to be used in battle. The stats which could use more emphasis are probably speed and HP. To me it makes sense that a Pokemon delivering presents should be fast, and vitality and Christmas go hand in hand. Attack and defense could be left unchanged, since it's not much of a fighter by nature. I gave a quick think, and my proposal ended up boosting its speed by 10 to 85 to make it as fast as pre-evolved fast Pokemon like Buneary and Buizel, but not faster than others like Ponyta and others who sit at 90. Speed should be Delibird's strong point, and some of its moves I will touch on later will complement that. I like the idea of it being a mixed attacker, so I'd like to boost its attack by 10 to match its special attack stat at 65. This will allow it to make the most of its dual flying and ice coverage more. I think its defenses should remain low, but perhaps just increase by 5 to get to an even 50. Nothing crazy, but just a little boost since it is a single stage evolution Pokemon anyway. HP I suggest a more significant change, increased by 20 to get to 65. Though a decent increase, it puts it on par with many weaker Pokemon, for example Yanma, and fits its characterization as a merry and plush little bird, running about, full of life. With these changes, the base stat total comes to 380, which is an acceptable range in my opinion. This is my first stat edit video, so it might be a bit off, but it's what feels right to me. Other Pokemon like Corsola, Bug evolutions, Sableye, and other second stage evolutions sit around this range, so it feels appropriate, especially when considering the slightly higher weighting into HP and speed and its relatively low defense. For Delibird's move pool, I was inspired by the competitive success of Iron Bundle, which is used for its incredible speed and speed control potential. Moves like Icy Wind and Tailwind should give Delibird some use to ensure its allies can strike first. Other status moves like Sing, Helping Hand, Mist, etc. follow this idea. Delibird won't use all the new moves in a given playthrough, but having access to them grants it much needed flexibility for specific scenarios, or uses in combination with other Pokemon. I also wanted Delibird to have a few unique moves, specifically moves that other ice-flying Pokemon would not have access to. I was thinking Metronome and Assist would fit nicely, as I imagined Delibird looking through his sack and pulling out a random move. But as a move associated with Togepi in this generation, I didn't want to take away from that and give too much to Delibird. It's quite easy when you're brainstorming these sorts of things to add too much to a Pokemon, since lots of things seem fun, or they might fit, and I found I was adding far too much to my Delibird. I needed a middle ground between the one move and over 20. Ideally, I imagined the move present could and probably should be changed so it could be more balanced as Delibird's signature move. My idea is that it would still provide a range of damage when used against the enemy, but it wouldn't have a chance to heal the enemy. Instead, it provides a similar range of guaranteed healing on allies. That way it's sort of consistently inconsistent. The RNG aspect is fun and plays into the surprise of Christmas, but I would like it to be reliable damage or healing. A bit like a more variable Pollen Puff. I also decided not to add moves like Fling, Snatch, or Thief, since these can all be learned by TM instead. Moves like Miracle Eye and Worry Seed play more into the themes of Christmas. I like the idea of him learning a move with Miracle in the name at level 25, giving a nod to the 25th of December. A move like Worry Seed plays into this idea of Christmas Eve, where Pokemon are too excited, waiting for Delibird to arrive with presents to be able to sleep. These moves are quite niche and have very specific utility associated with them, and that's where I think Delibird has the potential to shine in specific scenarios. The moves like Stockpile and Swallow and Spit Up are useful to boost its stats and overall bulk later on in the game, but also play into the idea of a great Christmas feast. Its main offense will center around physical moves like Pluck, or special moves like Icy Wind throughout the playthrough. Later on, these can be supplemented with moves like Fly and Blizzard. I also added other HMs, specifically Rock Smash, I think, and Rock Climb, because I like the idea of Delibird being able to traverse the land, because he has to get to every single Pokemon's house in one night, climbing through those chimneys, and I think that requires a lot of maneuverability. Rock Smash specifically is very useful coverage against rock types, and Fly is just a good move when it has snow warning. It actually has use for the HMs in battle, and it can help the player outside of battle. I also added a few more item-centric TMs like Embargo, which you can use when a Pokemon's been knotting, or stuff like Fling, like I've mentioned. But quite a practical one, I think, is U-Turn. I think it makes sense for such a nimble Pokemon to be able to switch, jump in and out of battle. And this is quite useful for just setting up Hail and then swapping into a better matchup. Just for a bit of flavour, I would make it so that Delibird in the wild, when you catch it, can be holding either a lava cookie or a moo moo milk, because I think that's just a bit of fun that would add a bit to the sort of character of the gimmick. Yeah, looking at a map of Johto, I'm not sure where it would make sense to put Delibird as an encounter, because as I've designed it now, it's maybe too strong for an early encounter. I mean, Ice Path as an encounter location for the default Delibird is far too late. Delibird, I think, is quite well suited to being an early game Ice type encounter because of its low stats, because it doesn't evolve, and because it's just, cute. So I think, much like in some of the later generations, it would make sense to put it earlier. But I'm not sure where, so please let me know what you think in the comments below. I feel these changes would give Delibird a strong niche in doubles formats, provide more general utility and usability in a storyline playthrough, and make it more fun to use generally. As unique as signature moves are, I feel Pokemon in general need more than just the one. We all know Delibird has a heart of gold, but I've implemented these changes into Pokemon Soul Silver since Delibird is a Soul Silver exclusive. You'll be able to see the full playthrough in part 2 of this video, so please subscribe so you can get notified when I upload that. Thank you and goodbye.